Mr. Sinatra, that is for fathers everywhere, here and, watching over us as we listen to Boulevard Sundays with Sinatra on every Sunday night. Thank you so much for being with us. You know I love you. And good night, Mr. Sinatra, wherever you are. God bless, and I'll see you next week.
The 77 WABC 16parkdental.com chime time is 8 o'clock. If you've neglected your teeth for many years due to fear or apprehension, they can bring your dental health back to where it used to be. Visit 16parkdental.com and book online.
Whipping out free speech.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
77 WABC.
Good Sunday evening to everyone. It is indeed the Anthony Cumia Show. Back for another foray into the insane goings-on of the planet Earth. My God. Every week it just gets crazier. And we're here for that. We are here for that. And yesterday, I got to say, anyone that listens to me knows I'm a Trump supporter. Not crazy, not one of these Trump diehard believes and backs every single thing he does. Not like that. But I support him. I voted for him. I'm happy I voted for him. I like what he's doing. But every so often, he does something, and I cringe. I cringe a bit. And this is totally normal. There's no problem with not agreeing with every single thing your elected politician does. So for those people that say, oh, you just back everything Trump does. Nah, not really. And the thing this week that kind of got me was the Army 250th birthday parade. Now, when I first heard of this, I'm like, oh, that's good. Let's have a little celebration of the Army, 250 years of unbelievable courage and service and technology. All the great things that have transpired over the past 250 years as far as our U.S. Army goes have been amazing. And the idea of celebrating that is great. I see no problem in that. And having a parade, I like that. I hate parades, by the way. I never go. They are all boring. I think every parade I've ever been to is boring. Just the whole thing, you're standing there in one spot, and it's just, they're all so corny. It's such an old tradition. I don't know. But I'm like, yeah, if people like it, watching the soldiers marching and some of the equipment, what harm could it do? But I'm not sure if it was Trump or the, obviously lying mainstream media. I balance it out in my own head. And I think the combination of the two, Trump's expectations and the mainstream media's just wanting to crap on it from the get-go, I think it was a combination of the two. I think Trump had this impression that this was going to be an amazing spectacle, like you see, and I know that a lot of liberals and the mainstream media were putting it in this context, like he wants to be a dictator, he wants to stand there like Russian presidents and Kim Jong-un over there in North Korea as the army marches past him with all their amazing equipment and bombs and whatnot. So I don't know if that's what he expected. And of course, the media ripped that optic apart, saying that if that's what he wants, this is terrible. It's just proving that he's a dictator, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it looked good. I just don't think it looked professional. I don't know. It wasn't worthy of the Army, of the United States Army, 250 years. It looked kind of thrown together, disorganized. There weren't many people there as far as spectators. I think they expected a lot more. And if they didn't, why make it sound like it's going to be this big spectacle? There were people there, like would have been there for, I guess, any parade, but not this giant, red square kind of display of men and weaponry. The Army marching, I know they've taken a lot of flack for not looking like they were marching in step. And I believe that there are certain groups in the Army that do that know how to march in step and put on a display like that. These guys, they're soldiers. They're working soldiers. I don't know if all of them go through this training so they can step all synchronized like you'd expect in a parade. Most people don't know that, though. They think that all soldiers have to be these amazing marching parade groups. I don't think that's what our Army does for the most part. So it just didn't look good. I'm just going to say it was a bad optic. I think it backfired, and holding it on his own birthday also gave a lot of opportunity to goof on him and say that he was doing this for his birthday, and then having it not quite be what he expected. It just was more ammunition for the opposition. We'll be back in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
Whipping out the First Amendments and holstering the Second. And again, we're asking, when do you cross the line?
Yes, indeed. The Anthony Cumia Show. On this wonderful Sunday, Father's Day. You just heard the top of the show, talking a little bit about Father's Day. And, I hope you're having a good one. We all need a dad. It's just terrible. Some of these people, The dads, not as committed as I guess they used to be. They kind of leave and leave their kids without something integral to their growing up and becoming a human that can function in a society. It's quite a responsibility, I think. Moms, of course, too, but, that's Mother's Day. It's Father's Day, so I'll talk about dads a little more. Every person you see that is screwed up, they're ruining everything. They can't function in a society. You got to kind of blame the parents a little bit. Sometimes they do their best, and still, it's never 100%. But dads are so important to their kids, not just, like I was saying, not just boys, but the girls too. And there just doesn't seem to be the importance put on that these days. Who this time, Anthony? Well, the usual suspects, the mental patient liberals in this country have just tried to destroy every single institution that we have that has proven itself to be good. It works. 2 parents, education, teaching children about morality, ethics. That was always a good thing. And now it's looked at as some terrible thing that somehow they've perverted into being white supremacy in some cases. I've read that one. Oh yeah, having a family. Having a nice family, achieving your goals as a parent, to having kids that do well and well-adjusted and
You have a house over their head. Dad works. Mom takes care of the house. Sure, it sounds old-fashioned, but it worked for so long. And then the absolute want and need to destroy that by some of these people on the left. A lot of them, if you ask me. Everyone I see, especially of late, we've been watching a lot of protests and nonsense. And I've said it before. I have not seen one liberal that goes to these events, these protests and whatnot, that aren't insane. Not a one. Sorry. You see people asking them questions, and they come up with a camera, and they just want something from them. Hey, what are you here for? What are you doing? And what do you get? You get this psychobabble coming out of them. They look freakish. Oh, Anthony, what do you know about that? I know what freakish looks like. I have a mirror. Yeah, I know what freakish is. Oh, what is normal, Anthony? Why do you say normal when, who are you to judge? I'm not judging, but I know normal too. Make me the normal police. I can point out people that aren't normal. I'm amazing at it. Just make me the normal police. The normal police. Duh. But it's, they all seem nuts. And I can't imagine, bringing it back to Father's Day, that they have fathers in the family. Or if they do, they're these beta, just not men. The woman, the wife, runs the whole show, and he just sits there in the hotel cuck chair, and doesn't contribute what a man needs to contribute to their kids, to a family, for God's sake. So dads are unbelievably important in a child's life. And I'm not saying you can't grow up in that single family household. Like I was talking about, moms do great jobs when they have to. The thing is, try to make it so you don't have to. How about that? I was married for a few years, and I knew right from the get-go that it was just not my bag, man. It just wasn't going to work, wasn't going to be something good. And she wanted to have kids, and I knew I wasn't going to put a kid through that. Either we're not together or we stay together, and it's just a toxic atmosphere. I grew up in that. Why would I want to do that to a kid? So, I just decided to dissolve the marriage. I cheated a little before, but look, we all have our faults. We all have our faults. But I knew well enough not to have a kid, because I would have at some point left the wife, and now you gotta deal with being a part-time dad, and then maybe some other idiot comes in and raises your kids. Oh, I couldn't imagine that. So some of those traditions are pretty good things, and the fact that they've tried to undermine them at every turn for decades now. Families are a bad thing. Oh, families are racist. Oh, it's homophobic to say that a kid can't have two dads. Look, I know a lot of things have changed since I was a kid, especially in school. But I can't imagine that father-son day I was talking about, you go to school and your dad comes in. Father-son breakfast it was. And you sit at the cafeteria tables in your school, and your dad's there, and your friend's dad's there, and talking about things, and the dads are discussing things, and it was awesome. Could you possibly imagine you have two dads, two gay dads, and you bring them into school, and they don't even do that anymore. What am I saying? That's too much of a tradition. That's too much of a, oh, you're not including the kids that don't have fathers. Yeah, sometimes that's the way things work. Even back when I was in school, there were some kids that didn't have dads. Maybe grandpa showed up. Maybe they just had to sit there with their friend and his dad. Sometimes them's the breaks, kid. And still, it was something that was a tradition. And all these traditions that seem to have worked for so long in making families, sound families, sane families, they've just tried to erase all that. And they always lie to you about why they're doing it and how it's done. And no, we're not doing it. We just want to include everyone. That's what it is. That's what it's all about, kids. We want to include everyone. So happy Father's Day, bud. You know, that's even been a thing. Mother's Day and Father's Day. Well, some kids don't have moms. They have two dads, or some kids have two moms and no dad. Why should we cater to that? Why can't we just enjoy having Father's Day and enjoy our dads? So if you're a dad out there, I hope you're enjoying this Father's Day. And if you want to call anything we talk about this evening, write the number down, 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222, and we'll discuss things. There's a lot going on. Oh, my God. The war, the big war, Israel and Iran having a bit of a tiff, I guess you could call it. Do I dare speak about it? I've written some things on social media about the conflict, and I've been called everything from a terrorist, a savage Middle Eastern Iranian terrorist, to a Zion-loving, Jew-loving, like you can't have an opinion. You can't just have an opinion or dare make a joke without having to be on one side or the other. You know, I kind of like the fact that we are sitting back and watching this go down. And boy, don't think I don't know. The United States is an ally of Israel and has supplied a lot of weapons and a lot of other stuff that makes it possible for Israel to be at war with Iran, or quite frankly, anybody. I think they'd be hard-pressed to go to war with anybody without the support they've had of the United States over the course of the years. And whether you agree with that and like it, or you hate it, and think Israel shouldn't be an ally, that is what it is. And, you know, you dare comment on it. And, you know, in the same post, I've been called both of those things. I've been called a sympathizer.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Cats in Footing, hosted by Jen DeLondro.
I have such a great guy. They just cut to the break. Okay. What happened now? What happened to the station? What happened to the station? Oh, somebody over there messed up. Yeah, I know.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Cats in Footing.
Yeah, I know. It makes sense. But they call that a hard break. Anyway, this is a DX-100. I bought this about 7 years ago. I bought this off of eBay. I think I paid about $50 total. I think somebody was selling it for about $35. So with shipping and taxes, everything, it came out to about $50 or $52. I forgot what it was. This radio is in great condition. Great condition. I had to wipe it down, put deoxit when I first received it. Ever since then, I didn't have to put nothing on it.
Thank God my mother made the turn on Avenue M and East 14th, and she went in and he changed.
Yeah, I know. I got a great deal on this. It's pretty much in mint condition.
It's our choice.
Whoever had this before barely used it, probably.
Visit World Wildlife Fund.
I mean, nothing is faded. Everything, everything is mint. All right, hello, Chico P Radio. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, it's a great deal.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
The Anthony Cumia Show, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it on this end, that's for sure.
I have a mission,
What's going on?
a project, a job that I have to follow through with on a weekly basis right here on this very program. And that is coming up with the Clown of the Week, yes.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Oh, yeah, and it is the toughest job out there. Please, I challenge you to come up with a job harder than finding the Clown of the Week in 2025. It's everywhere. The clowns are everywhere. And this week, I have to apologize because I'm going to have to sprinkle in during the entirety of this program the 4 clowns that have come up. Yes, there were 4 clowns this week that I just could not pick one from because it's all, they're very similar. It's based on the same topic, and I couldn't put one over another. I guess the big clown is Senator Alex Padilla, but I'm not even going to name him clown. He proved he was a clown. It was hilarious to watch. Alex Padilla rushed in to where Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She was giving a address. She was talking to the media. This was not a portion of her speech that was Q&A. They keep saying, well, so Senator Padilla, I guess. Padilla? I knew a guy in school that was Padilla, but that was Long Island. They want to seem less, I don't know, Hispanic. Padilla. He was standing there watching Kristi Noem give her speech. He walked into the room and started rushing toward the podium. The security, police, they didn't know who this was. They didn't know who this guy was. He's just some guy. And in this day, oh my goodness, if the cops aren't on top of somebody, they will be held responsible for anything that happened to that person. We've seen too much of this. So the cops did their job. Amazingly. I loved it. They grabbed Padilla and escorted him out of the room. And he kept trying to get to the podium. So they had to get a little hands-on, nothing physical, just stop. This was, you hear from these people, are clowns that I will be showing you throughout the show, that it was an assault on a United States senator. Was it, though? So they bring him outside. They put him on the ground because he was being combative. He was trying to get back into the room that Kristi Noem was in. And they put him on the floor, which is standard operating procedure for law enforcement. And then they cuffed him. And I gather that once everything was hashed out, they took the cuffs off. They didn't arrest the guy. They took the cuffs off. But in that moment, there's a man, they don't know who it is, rushing toward the podium of the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, giving a speech. And, well, some people didn't quite see it as something the cops should have done. It was assault. And you know why? Donald Trump. It was Trump's dictatorship. That's what it is. He wants senators and Congress people that disagree with him to be locked up, assaulted, and handcuffed. Oh, really? Is that how you're going to spin this? Not that it was some guy that no one knew who the hell he was. He was arguing that he had his polo shirt on with Senator Padilla on the over the breast of his polo shirt, which, by the way, was underneath his jacket. So no one saw this. And I would think that a cop, I would hope, a cop would want to see a little more than that as far as credentials goes. Just a polo shirt with your name on it. This guy had no press credentials. He had no one should have had to have been a mind reader to figure out what this guy was up to. So let's start with Clown of the Week, Pete Buttigieg. This is what he said about that episode with Senator Alex Padilla.
Hey, it's Pete. Like so many people around the country, I just saw something that made my stomach turn.
A vagina?
Didn't think that I would see, even under this administration. A United States senator pushed to the ground and handcuffed after asking questions of a federal government official.
Hands on your back. Hands on your back. Hands on my hands. Go ahead.
All right. What are we supposed to do about that? Well, first of all, we name what just happened, which is that the Trump government has crossed one of the reddest of red lines that can exist in a free society. Any salute to the flag or talk of patriotism or American greatness is completely hollow if you do not respect the freedoms that that flag represents, the Constitution that directs the course of this country. And they've shown what they think of those freedoms and that Constitution. Now what? Well, much will depend on the courage of members of the Senate and the House, especially Republicans. This kind of thing is designed to make them more afraid. Our job,
okay, you can
as American citizens,
because he's pretty much blathered on and again lied about this. This was not a Q&A, the Q&A portion of it. The media was there. Once Kristi Noem was done speaking, she would have taken questions from the media. But this guy just runs toward the podium. This was not a Q&A that he asked a question and the government found it offensive, so they dragged him out in handcuffs. This was standard operating procedure, how anybody should be treated in that same circumstance when a government official, especially Department of Homeland Security secretary, is up there speaking and a guy rushes toward the podium. And you'll see, the clown is Pete Buttigieg. I got 3 more clowns that will sprinkle through the show tonight because they are all trying to pull the same nonsense that this was some kind of a, whatever it was, some kind of a dictatorship, trying to keep the opposition locked up. Oh, just stop. Can you guess who the other 3 are? Do you think they're Democrats? We'll be back in a few moments. Stick around for more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Folks at Rosenberg here. You know, I'm not inspired by many people, but
Yeah. So anyway, let me show you real quick. Of course, you got your S meter right here. This is a BFO because it's the single sideband. and CW. So there's modes here: AM mode, AM, ANL, automatically noise limiter, standby, and single sideband CW right here. So the BFOs for that. You also have a fine tune. That's more like for the shortwave band. And also single sideband and fine tune when you go on the more. Band select, band A is 520 to 1620. Yeah. Band B is 1550 to 4500. 4500 or 4.5 megahertz. Band C is 4.5 megahertz up to 13. And band D is 13 megahertz up to 30. So it's a full general coverage receiver. So no gaps. All right. Of course, there is quite a few mods on this. One of them is the speaker mod. Oh, a headphone jack right here. Sorry. Headphone jack. So there you go. I mean, it's pretty good. Although I heard these are the worst. I heard Radio Shack make this like the worst shortwave. It does drift quite a bit on shortwave, but on medium wave is okay.
Certainly is. And we're going to talk war. Ooh, war.
Of course, this was a lot of
Israel,
first
Iran.
shortwave receiver ever.
Do we get involved? Are we already involved? How far does it go? We've had a few world events that have happened that people say, well, here it comes.
I believe World it was also the year 1981, but it might have been the late 70s.
It doesn't pan out to be World War III.
Pretty old.
The Ukraine-Russia thing, of course. There were plenty of other things where people said, well, this is it. Nukes. Everyone loves throwing that around these days, too. I grew up in the 60s. Well, as a little kid in the 60s. Mostly the 70s as a child. But I remember being in first grade and having to go under the desk for the teacher. No, I'm teasing. The air raid drills. They put you under the desk to protect you from atomic bombs. The desk, yeah, we all joke about that now, don't we? But the prospect of nuclear war back then was very frightening, and it was very realistic. You have the Soviet Union, China, the United States, and they were always just bashing heads, and proxy wars, all kinds of things going on that took us to the brink of nuclear war on a couple of occasions, and probably more so that we never even knew about. But it was petrifying. It was a very horrible thing, and any time it was talked about, it was in very somber tones by the media, the government officials. It was never taken lightly. And now, no one seems to really be afraid of the prospect. They almost seem to be cheering it on. Like, come on, let's do this. Where's World War III already? Where are the nukes? And I don't quite know why that's happened over the course of the years. I've seen it on a smaller scale where people don't seem to be afraid of guns anymore. See that happen a lot in a lot of inner city disputes where someone will pull a gun out, and in the old days, you'd think people would put their hands up, get on the ground, try to run away, something. But now you just, oh, you're going to shoot me? What? You're going to shoot me? Yeah, and then they shoot them. So this lack of fear seems to be an issue these days. And I look at the World War III scenarios, and people don't seem to be as afraid of it, of the prospect of atomic weapons. Now, I don't know. I don't think Iran has nuclear weapons. I think if they did, they may have at least threatened with them a little more than they have. I think the United States, Israel, I guess any other country that was keeping tabs on Iran would probably have known if they were able to build an actual working nuclear weapon. So I don't think they have it. But it's a hell of a gamble, isn't it? What if they were able to cobble together some kind of a rudimentary nuclear weapon, even if it's not delivered by missile, suitcase bomb? How about a dirty bomb? I heard Netanyahu say that Iran has the potential, or at least had before the other day, maybe they still do, to build 6 atomic bombs, enough enriched uranium. Those could very readily be used as dirty bombs. You just slap some material on the side of one of those missiles, and you have an irradiated area for a while. And I'm not saying this is any reason to go in and attack Iran. I'm just saying, how do you attack Iran not knowing that? If you say they have enough nuclear material for 6 atomic bombs, you have to be a little, I don't know, on guard that they have the potential to irradiate Tel Aviv, maybe, unless you're absolutely positively sure they don't have enough nuclear material for 6 atomic bombs. And maybe you don't want them to ever get that, or maybe you want the mullahs and the Ayatollah and all the other fanatical Islamic figures over there in Iran gone. I'm not sure what's going on over there. I don't think many people are. I've heard a lot of theories because some people really hate Israel and some people really love Israel. So anything that you say, people have an answer to, but they don't really have an answer. They have what they want to hear. And one of those things is that Iran was on the brink of making nuclear weapons. They have said death to Israel, death to the U.S., and they would have used them had they been able to put it together. So preemptive strike was necessary. And then you have the people that go, what the hell are you doing even bothering Iran? Well, they're sponsors of terrorism. Well, so are a bunch of other countries we do business with. And that's the key here. That's what I really want to delve into. Do business with. We don't do business with Iran. No one does business with Iran. Maybe one or two. Maybe, North Korea? Maybe Russia has a few things. China gets in there, but nothing on the level of pretty much every other large nation in the Middle East. Many years ago, if Israel would have decided to bomb Iran, everyone would have jumped in. You'd have seen Saudi Arabia, Egypt going in after Israel, everybody. But over the course of the years, what brought enough goodwill and peace to all these nations to the point where Israel can now bomb the crap out of Iran without any other Middle Eastern nation even saying anything about it? I haven't heard a word from the Saudis or Jordan or the United Arab Emirates or Qatar or none of them. Why? What makes that goodwill? Is it the difference between right and wrong? Do you think they're like, good, they might have nuclear weapons? No. It's business. The West does business with all these nations now. And if there's one thing that will keep people from shooting each other, it's mutual interest in making a lot of money and garnering as much power as you can. So when you look at all these other nations, we aren't going to get in a tiff with Saudi Arabia because the money that is exchanged is unbelievable between the two nations. And with Israel. Israel is part of the business machine of the Middle East now. Who isn't in that? Iran, that's right. Very good. Iran, they're still in this archaic, they want to be isolated. They are very strict about their adherence to their religion, to the point where they will not even do business with people that they deem evil and should be killed. So they can still be bombed, and no one will care because it doesn't affect the bottom line. Look at China. We should really hate China. The whole world should really, really hate China. And China is such a driving force in the world economy that we just leave it alone, that they poisoned the globe, that they put a disease on Earth that killed millions of people from every nation, and we just go, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We do a lot of business with these guys. Even Russia. You know, business is done with Russia. There's a lot of sanctions on Russia right now, but they know that the world will do business with them. They're not as outcast as Iran is. Iran is just this dinosaur in the Middle East that I think a lot of nations go, oh, God, these guys with their Ayatollah and isolation. They have oil, they have resources, they got this, and none of us can partake in it because they're such sticklers for Islam. And that's what we see. And I think the fact that Israel is at war with them speaks volumes. It's this kind of thing has been going on for years. It's called a coup. It's called a hostile takeover. It's called, placing your own leader in there that you want, a puppet regime. For whatever purposes, it used to be that it was pretty much military. You didn't want commies getting in there. The domino theory, if one falls, they all fall. And, that worked for a while. Now it's pure economics. People just want to make money. And that's, I think, the big part of what we're seeing here. Now, I don't think we should get involved in this any more than we are already, and we probably are very involved. I'm not that stupid. But Trump is, going around saying we're not getting involved militarily with support. We'll support Israel. We'll give equipment. Of course, everything Israel uses is American-made military equipment. So in that sense, we kind of have our feet in it anyway. But do we start flying missions? Do we start using our own military? What if Iran bombs one of our bases? Which, again, I think 99% of the people would say that was another false flag operation. False flag! False flag like the Gulf of Tonkin. The USS Liberty. Trying to get us into one of these wars. But I think it would be detrimental to Trump because Trump is, his biggest thing, maybe even bigger than the border during his run, was no foreign wars. We're not getting involved in foreign wars. And if he doesn't adhere to that, he's really going to have a lot of trouble answering to it. Now, again, he can't run again. So it won't matter as far as an election goes. It might for who does, if it's Vance. But I think Trump is such a narcissist, and he doesn't want to look bad. He doesn't want to look like, oh, you said this and you did that. So whether he wants to get involved in a foreign war, I don't know. I hope not again. And then they might be able to spin it, well, it's not really a foreign war because Israel's our strongest ally in the Middle East, and they need our help, and that's what alliances are. So I don't know. I just really hope we don't get tangled up in this thing to the point where American soldiers start dying because Because Iran isn't economically viable enough right now with the cavemen that they have running it. I think very shortly we will see Iran under new management, under brand new management, and deals will be made, and before you know it, we're going to be shipping goods and services over there. They're like the last real holdout. That isn't some little small place we could just, that's kind of inconsequential. But if you look at the way things have gone the past few years, a lot of the Middle East has kind of been bombed out of their primitive thinking. How about we do some business now, Syria? How about that? So we'll see. I guess we'll see. It's also an odd kind of war because there are people sitting on rooftops watching missiles fly over while they're drinking and listening to music and dancing. That's an odd thing, isn't it? The way wars are being fought now with drones, and we get to see some video of missiles and things like that, but no real fighting. No real soldiers. We see the devastation of the aftermath of missiles, but nothing like, the films of D-Day and all these other World War II battles, or Vietnam, platoons of men in the woods and then gunfire breaks out. These are very, sterile, kind of a sterile way to look at war. Oh, here's some more missiles. Oh, look at that one. Oh, that blew something up. I don't even know what it is. It's a building. Is it an apartment building? Is it command and control? And it's just desensitized us to war. And they've done it more and more over the years. Even when we were in the Gulf War, we saw a lot of those video game type battles with missiles and stuff. But we saw tank battles, and we saw infantry, and Afghanistan, there was a lot of video, helmet cams of our soldiers in very close quarters gun battles. And now we don't see, we see, there's a drone flying over and it blows someone up. Or with Israel and Iran, we're just seeing bombs, missiles. And they're letting everyone know, which is an odd thing. Iran's like, in a couple of hours, you will see. We will send over our newest, biggest missile. You're like, why are you saying this? Why would you tell everybody what you're doing? So it just comes off as a little strange, doesn't it? Isn't it a little odd, this war? No one really knows what's going on. No one knows what it's about. And if you look back at the Iraq thing that we were all mixed up in, that was all based on lies. Every single bit of it was a lie. Oh, we got mobile germ warfare and chemical warfare vans that Saddam is driving around like the ice cream man. And everyone, because it's so close to 9/11, we were just like, yeah, kick someone's ass. Let's do this. But I think over the course of the years since, a lot more people are a little more wise to things. A little more wait and see. I'm not willing to just believe what anyone says. And I really, at this point, have no idea why Iran is being bombed right now. I don't know. Does that mean I don't want it to be bombed? No. Does that mean I don't support our strongest ally, Israel? No. But I don't know why this is going on right now. Preemptive strike, because maybe nukes, enough for 6 warheads, but we're not worried that they might just blow up a dirty bomb full of enriched uranium in a city. Just seems weird. We're not getting quite all the information on this one, right? Am I right or am I wrong? You let me know. 800-848-9222. And, we'll talk about it because I'm sure people have their own opinions. And again, it'll just seem like you're a staunch supporter of Israel or you're a staunch supporter of Iran, terrorism, Hamas, Palestinian. That seems to be the only two options you have. My third option here is, what the hell is going on and why? Why is this happening? Now, we'll be back in moments. I'll take your calls on the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Let me show you the back of it. Let me show you the back of it. Be careful here. Because it has it's just a whip antenna. It just goes up. It doesn't rotate. So you got to be careful when you put this antenna up. For shortwave, medium wave, it does have a internal ferrite. There is an external connector right here. And if you want to hook up a DC plug. And that's pretty much it. Very simple radio. Okay, so there you go. Radio Shack, a division of Tandy Corporation, Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, but it's for shortwave. There's no FM in this. This is a medium wave and shortwave. That's it. See right there, 520, 30 megahertz. So this is for shortwave. Oh.
Yes, indeed. Anthony Cumia Show. Let's talk to Matt from the Bronx. Matt, what's up, man?
Hello, Anthony. All right. So I wanted to ask if you're familiar with the Council for the National Interest. Does that ring a bell?
No, it does not, sir.
Okay. So the Council for the National Interest was founded by two Republican congressmen, Pete McCluskey and Paul Finley. And basically what it's designed to do is to do two things. Number one, to inform the public with regard to objective information about the Middle East. Mm-hmm. And number two, to advance what I think is probably the most pragmatic foreign policy in that part of the world for the United States, and that's a policy of strict neutrality.
Right.
So now, that being said, with regard to what's going on right now in the Middle East, you have a situation whereby in this country, unfortunately, for both the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party, I'm talking about the party leadership and the people who make decisions with regard to foreign policy, both parties, unfortunately, have sipped the neoconservative Kool-Aid, and they're the ones who are actually leading the show with regard to our foreign policy in that region of the world, as is also the case with regard to the Ukraine war. Because, with regard to Iran specifically, Iran was on the last country on the target list of the neoconservatives when they wrote a foreign policy paper called A Clean Break. That was back in 1996, before 9/11, before George Bush.
I've heard about
that. Yes. And, with A Clean Break, mind you, you had people like Paul Wolfowitz, Douglas Feith, Richard Pearl, all these people that got us involved in the Iraq War, all the people who got us involved in Libya, Syria, you name it. They wrote that policy paper back in 1996, not for an American administration. They wrote it for the same person who now heads Israel as he did back then. They wrote it for Benjamin Netanyahu. Mm-hmm. Now, neoconservatives, if they're just simply an intellectual movement, they put a foreign country ahead of the United States in terms of national security, in terms of our foreign policy objectives. Now, that's fine if they're just an intellectual movement, but they're not just an intellectual movement. They're people who have arrogated to themselves a position in our government where they're formulating policy and dictating a national policy directives for an entire nation, 330 million people.
Okay, now I've heard this, Matt. I've heard this before, and again, I love listening to other people's ideas and opinions on things, especially as hot button issues and controversial issues, and this is one of them. I mean, but here's my question, because I know what you're getting at. It's like Israel. A lot of people believe Israel has absolute power over the United States and our government and everything else, and we are there to do their bidding. I've heard it many times. Can I ask one question, though? Why would we do that, and what do we get out of it? Shouldn't we get something out of this relationship, this allyship, this usury, maybe, if it's Israel just using the United States? How come we aren't getting anything out of it? What do we get?
It's twofold. In terms of why they have such a stranglehold over American politics, it's really twofold. Number one, you have the political donors, people like Sheldon Adelson, the billionaire donors that donate to Republican and Democratic political campaigns.
Yeah, but what does the country get out of it? Like, Israel gets the ability. Here's what happens. The United States and Israel's allyship. Israel gets the ability to do things like this, to bomb the hell out of Iran, and no one's really going to do anything because the United States has their back. What does America get out? Not politicians on the take. I get all that. That happens all over the place with many different people other than just Israel and many other different countries. What does the United States gain from it? I see what Israel gets from it. They get the Middle East, and they're able to do things in the Middle East that would have had them pounded into the ground without America as their big brother backing them up. What does America get from this allyship with Israel?
Absolutely nothing.
See, that makes no sense. Why would we do this then? Instead of just turning around and going, go F yourself, screw you, we're not doing this anymore. We get nothing out of it. That's what I've heard, Matt. I've heard the same thing from many other people. They said, well, we get nothing. I go, then why are we doing any of this?
Because our political class is beholden to the people who run our media, the people who donate to their campaigns. You know, the average working Joe who goes out there, puts in an honest day's work, pays his taxes, minds his business. You know, he might vote for this or that candidate, but he's not funding their campaigns.
But if we're not getting anything, what if we just say screw you to everybody? All those donors, screw you, we're not doing this, we're not doing it. We have nothing to lose because apparently we're not getting anything. That's been my point. I can't imagine that this country would just do this with nothing in return.
Yeah. That's just, because again, unfortunately, the citizens of this country, we're the ones who are suffering. But the politicians, they don't care about the country. They only care about their own careers, getting reelected, taking as much PAC money as they possibly can in every election cycle. They don't give a damn about the country. They don't care about the welfare of our country, our public safety. They don't care if we get attacked again on a 9/11 style attack because of our one-sided policy in the Middle East. They don't care.
I appreciate your call, and like I said, I want to hear all sides because I just don't get this at all. Matt from the Bronx, thank you, my friend. My God. Yeah, it's one of these situations where like, I don't know. All right, we'll be back in a matter of moments. More phone calls. Like I said, a hot button issue. Look out. Look out. Does Anthony lose his job?
UABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays.
WABC!
77 WABC Advanced Site Contractors Chime Time is 9 o'clock.
For expert asphalt paving to full-scale site work, visit AdvancedSiteContractors.com. Serving the tri-state area. Call now, 718-984-7483. AdvancedSiteContractors.com. Whipping out free speech.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
77 WABC.
The Anthony Cumia Show.
Day. I hope everybody is having a great Father's Day. You dads out there and the kids. I don't think Father's Day takes on the importance of Mother's Day. Moms demand a lot more than dads do on their special day. There's, usually moms get taken out to dinner or brunch, something like that with the family, and dads don't expect much. I think most dads just want some damn peace and quiet. Yeah. They just want to not do what they have to do the rest of the year. It's supposed to be, a day for Dad. Let him do what he wants to do. Of course, there are fathers that have passed on. My own dad, Joe Cumia, he passed away a few decades ago. A great dad. They all have their faults. Trust me on that one. But just some great fun memories growing up in Southern California. Anybody that's familiar with me from other radio shows knows I spent a lot of time out in California, San Juan Capistrano, California, with my father during my formative teen years, and I'm very happy about that. I think every child should have a dad in their life for as long as they can, before they pass away. I think there's way too many families, kids growing up without fathers, and I think it's had an unbelievably detrimental impact on our society. I think that's blatantly obvious. You look when you see certain societies, certain communities in the United States here that are at a 75% illegitimacy rate, and 75% of them don't have fathers in their family, haven't had them since they were infants. You could kind of see that it ends up being very bad for the kids. No guidance, and don't give me the crap of a mother. A mother can raise a kid just as well as a mother and father can. And look, sometimes it's necessary. I mean, things happen. People fall out of love. They pass away, whatever it is. And sometimes you have a single mom raising their kids. That'll happen. And they do the best they can, and the kids grow up and they're fine. I'm sure there are many successful people that have grown up in that single mom family. But truth be told, for the most part, having two parents, just statistically, has always been better overall than having a single parent. I just don't think a mother can give a kid, especially a son, what they need and what they get out of having a dad. There are so many of those memories that you have as a boy growing up with a father. They used to have these father and son things at school, and it was great. You'd show up with your dad, and you're proud of him, and you don't know, maybe he's hungover that day, but he showed up anyway. And it's just one of those things where it creates these great memories of a father and doing things as a father and being proud, showing your friends, showing your dad off to your friends and what he does for a living. It's just part of being a boy. I think it helps once you grow up. Sometimes it helps to see somebody like your father and look at mistakes he's made as a man. And you could take those, and instead of having to make those same mistakes, you've already seen how it plays out, so you avoid doing that. So I'm not even saying it's got to be all Lord Cleaver, the idealistic TV dad kind of a thing. Just having a father around to show you. You know, he learns from his mistakes and passes that on to you. So I think dads, although they do take a lot of crap these days, you know, always portrayed as kind of the dummy on TV and in movies. The women are always the strong hero now. And, you know, they could portray that as fiction all they want. But the truth of the matter is, you know, dads are great. I think every kid needs a dad in their lives. And I talk about the boys because I'm a boy. That's how I grew up. But daughters need dads too. I mean, we've seen some tragic results of girls not having dads in their life. They make up my entire dating history, as a matter of fact. Daddy issues. We'll be back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
Here at 77 WABC.
Oh my God, my son is playing around upstairs. And I'm eating some ravioli stuffed with spinach and some chicken meatballs. Oh my God, I put a little olive oil on it, so delicious. Delicious. And a Coke, of course. My favorite soda. Everything with a Coke.
People serve the people for the past 104 years.
Yeah, so I saw TV Radio 1972's video. He caught a TV analog signal from Cuba. It was audio, of course. Around 70 megahertz, I believe. Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But they still got analog TV in Cuba. I didn't know that. I thought it was digital also.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Like I said earlier, I had four clowns of the week. So let's go to another one here. This is who is this? Yeah, Chuck Schumer. Oh, yeah. Chuck Schumer, the quad clown of the week. This would be Chuck talking about, of course, Alex Padilla, getting tackled and assaulted and handcuffed by Trump's brown shirts. This is great, though, because, again, just like Pete Buttigieg, he's lying. Listen to this.
Mr. President, I just saw something that sickened my stomach. The manhandling of a United States Senator. We need immediate answers to what the hell went on. I mentioned a few minutes ago that I had seen a video that sickened my stomach. A U.S. Senator being manhandled, we now know, by federal agents and dragged out of a hearing room. Now there's a second video. It's even worse. He's been thrown to the ground. Again, manhandled, brutally taken down, handcuffed. It was disgusting. Anyone who looks at it turns anyone who looks at this, it will turn their stomach to look at this video and see what happened. Reeks of totalitarianism. This is not what democracies do. Senator Padilla was there, legitimately in that building, to ask questions of what's going on in California, which everybody wants to know answers to. We don't get answers when we ask the administration questions in one way or another. So Senator Padilla was exercising his duty as a senator for his constituents to try and find out what happened. And instead, he gets manhandled, thrown out of the room, thrown out on the ground, and handcuffed. We need a full investigation immediately as to what happened, and who did what, and what's going to be done to see that this doesn't happen again to Senator Padilla or other American citizens who are seeking their right to redress. Shut up. Despicable. It's disgusting. It is so un-American. So un-American. We need answers. We need answers immediately.
They love calling things un-American that are completely within the bounds of the American Constitution, laws, policies. You can't run as the Secretary of Homeland Security You just can't do it. The cops will tackle you. They tried to get him out.
Exactly.
He was manhandled.
He looked crazy.
He was taken out like anyone else would have been if they were acting like that in a room with a government official. That's all. Thrown to the ground. It made me sick to my stomach. Did it though, Chuck? Did it really? Because I doubt that. There's such drama queens, the lying and the drama. This is not democracy. It is. Laws are made, and, you know, the legislators make some laws. The police are given their latitude to enforce the laws. And when some guy starts charging at the Secretary of Homeland Security, yeah, they did their job well. Mind you, they did their job well. So we got a couple of more of those idiots before the end of the show, but that was Chuck Schumer commenting on that Padilla thing. We'll go back. I don't have any fear. We'll go right back to the Israel thing. It's so funny how many people tell me, oh, jeez, oh, just don't touch this, Anthony, please. Just don't touch it. What? We can't be on a political talk radio show and just address what's happening? There are people that will absolutely support Israel to the end, and there are people that won't. And I want to hear from everyone, as long as it's not just, you know, nonsense. You just don't like one side or the other. I want to hear lively debate. I want to hear intelligent ideas being exchanged as far as what's going on there. Mike, what's up, my friend?
Hey, Anthony, thank you for taking my call. How are you? As far as that, the previous caller, we were discussing Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what benefit do we get from our relationship?
That's my big question.
I think the first and foremost is, as the much in the Arab world would state, they are the little Satan and we're the great Satan. So I told the call screener they're like the speed bump before getting to us. So they take the brunt of everything over there, and they're dealing with this stuff, and they're in the hostile territory, and they're taking most of what would come our way first, I guess, in a sense.
Interesting.
So that on the surface, I would say is what we gain to stand to benefit from the fact that they are basically the tip of the spear when it comes to dealing with global terror.
But Mike, I love what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But wouldn't that make us kind of their puppet master? We're putting them out there to take the heat for our bidding. They're doing our bidding in the Middle East, and they're the ones that are going to take the brunt of it. Because if it was their motivation, why the hell would they put themselves in harm's way unless they knew America was there? But if they're doing our bidding, then isn't that completely the opposite of what a lot of people say, that we just do Israel's bidding without getting anything in return?
Which brings me to my next point. That's the surface point. That's the surface point. I think the deeper point is that if you go back the last, I'd say, 50 years or so, they've probably gathered more intelligence on American politicians and the political elites than anybody else in the world. And to keep a lid on that, I'm sure we go along with a lot of things.
Mike, are we just doing this because of blackmail? Is it all just because of blackmail? Something so scandalous and late movie topic kind of a thing? I'd hate to think that we have given over our country to another nation for nothing more than something some broad can do to you when she's slept with you.
I mean, we've had it for basically the last 4 years with the previous administration. They were giving away the farm to protect that family. So, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Good. I like it, Mike. I like your take. Like your
and if I could, just one more with that,
Yes.
as far as Chuck Schumer, that's just absolutely laughable, because that guy would pull a Jerry Nadler and crap his depends if anybody approached him in a furtive manner. So for him to say, first of all, nobody knows who that senator is because he was installed. Nobody knows who that guy is. So he's been a senator for about 3 weeks. So it's not like you're dealing with somebody that's got a strong national presence that they've seen on TV.
You would know. Yeah, if Chuck Schumer ran in there, I think a lot of people would know, oh, that's Chuck Schumer. Who is this guy?
Right.
What a self-important ass to think that the police who are there on, alert, think, oh, you know me. I can rush the podium. Get at it.
Right. You got federal agents that are probably working 16, 20-hour shifts. They don't have a clue who this guy is.
Right.
And they're just doing their job. So, I mean, for anybody to take umbrage with law enforcement, trying to protect the protectee is just absurd.
Yeah, I get you.
So,
okay, thank you, Mike. I appreciate the call. Very cool. Let's maybe Bob. Bob from the Isle of Long has a take on the Israel thing. What's up, man?
Yes, this is Bob. Look, that fellow you have on, that Matt that calls, he's a serial anti-Semite. He calls all the talk show hosts.
Oh,
he's a Jew hater. That's right, Matt. He's a Jew hater. Ask him, McCormick and everybody else. He was razzing him last night. McCormick gave him a lot of hell. But that's not it. You want to know what Israel does, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what Israel does. You remember when Grant, they said he's a drunk in the Civil War?
Sure.
And he said, they told Lincoln he was a drunk. You know what Lincoln said? Oh, he's a drunk, huh? What does he drink? He said bourbon. He said, send him 2 cases. Grant fights. Let me explain something to you. Israel fights. You tell me one ally that is going to fight by our side. In Afghanistan, they couldn't whip cream with an outboard motor, our allies, unless we fought. And this guy, Matt, he's talking about not caring for the country. I'm a Jew. I was in the 173rd Airborne Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, infantry. That's what he did for his country. He's a serial Jew hater. And what Israel does, Israel helps us all the time with intelligence. They're a very good fighting ally. They fight. Not like what do you think they want those? Yeah,
the intelligence from Israel Mossad is frightening. It's just frightening when you look at it because and it's one thing that I would imagine that they could come up with a lot of dirt on a lot of people over here too, and info is power. So I'm not going to completely discount that doesn't go on, Bob. But I like your point. I like your point on this. They are there. They are. But do you see the roles changing though as the Middle East becomes less of a let's destroy Israel kind of an area because Iran is kind of obviously. A lot of the Middle Eastern nations aren't fans of Israel, but they've learned to work with Israel.
I'll explain something, Anthony. Everybody hates the Jews. Did you take a polio vaccine? Now do you hate Jews? Did you take antibiotics? Now do you hate Jews? Come on, man. And I'm going to ask you another question. Iran, what do they want the ballistic missile parts for? They don't need a ballistic missile to hit Tel Aviv. They need a ballistic missile to hit us, right? So what we're doing is, what are we doing? We ain't
there, Bob. A little naughty language.
My apologies. It's just
okay. You're very passionate. You're very worked.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Israel does a lot of things that is totally right. Everybody does. Look what we do a lot of times. I mean, that's not it. It's the thing is, your ally is your ally. I don't think if Britain had to come to help us, they can whip cream with an outboard motor. But if you call on Israel, that's your aircraft carrier in the Middle East. It's called the USS Israel. They're a great ally.
All right, Bob.
You can't say that. I mean, think about what you say. Trump knows what he's talking about.
I listen, Bob. I listen to everyone that calls in. I am not
remember that?
very knowledgeable. I have a lot of questions, and I'm getting a lot of answers, so I appreciate it, Bob. Thank you, man. There goes Bob. And we'll be back. Ooh, hot button. Anthony, don't touch this. Don't touch this topic. You'll be doomed. Maybe. We'll be back in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
Yeah, so you rated 1972. Yeah, that was an awesome video. I try to update mine, and I you know when you put the button in there, I hate that. I obliterated mine. I don't know what was I thinking. So now I can't update this radio. That's it. Unless I open it up. But I'm not gonna do that because I am getting another one anyway. I'm gonna get a desktop version, or I'll probably get the VP666. So yeah, I wanted to update it to 2.20 whatever, and that button, which is I hate that hidden button in there. And I forgot what I used last time. I couldn't find it. I used something else, and I think I broke the little button inside there. So couldn't update it. That was the end of that.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
The Anthony Cumia Show. As you were just told by the announcer. And me, Anthony Cumia. Welcome back. Right to the phones. This is, like I said, very, very hot button. Hot button.
Matthew from the Jersey of New. What's up?
What's going on, Anthony? Yeah, so I guess my main point would be, like, if you look at your last two callers, the younger guys are definitely more anti-Israel, the older guys pro-Israel. I think it's, you're seeing, like, a major shift, where young people are just kind of tired of, specifically, like, young white guys, for sure, being spit on, being, like, kind of just told we're the worst of society, but now, as we saw in, like, 2001, like, I was 6 when 9/11 happened, but, like, ever since 9/11, we've been in the Middle East nonstop.
Yeah.
Spending a bunch of money in wars nonstop. And it's like, when is it going to end? And is more war in the Middle East going to help me get a house? Is it going to help me? Is it going to help me save money? Is it going to help groceries going to go down? Or is it going to help some, company that may or may not be in bed with politicians make a bunch of money on new contracts?
Well,
like we've seen this story before,
Yeah, Matthew, that's another great point because people are tired of it. It's gone on for so many years, and when people really become cognizant of the problems we have here in this country, and then you got a group of people that have been called a pariah, the worst people in America, you start getting mad, and your straight white kid these days is pretty tired of being called the problem. And then when you look at world events and you start
we have to save the world.
Yeah, that we have to save the world. It's like, why? I'm a piece of garbage. You told me I am. I think we're at a point now, and this happens politically in this country over the course of the years. It's happened many times. We go from, we got to save the world to virtual political isolationism. We don't want to get involved in any of the things happening beyond our shores. Pre-World War II was the same thing. Pre-World War I was the same thing. We just wanted to stay out of it. There were a lot of Americans. And then, lo and behold, something happens, like Pearl Harbor, what was the situation?
And you see guys like Tim Pool now. I'm not sure. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you see guys like Tim Pool and a lot of other like mainstream people now talking about sleeper cells, talking about be prepared for an Iranian attack on U.S. soil. Like, right? There's not enough, especially from young people, not enough approval, for us to want to go into a new war like this. So how do you get a large portion of the population to want to go into war?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it's a false flag, it's whatever. But maybe you allow for the conditions, you allow for open borders underneath 4 years of a previous administration, right, to allow things like that to harbor, and then all of a sudden, when it's convenient, you have possibly something horrible happen that we didn't do. It's not like, Israel did. I'm not saying anything like that, but we allow the conditions almost to harbor in the country for these things to happen, and then be shocked when it's like, now we have to go save the world again. It's like, okay, but why did we allow these sleeper cells to form? Why do we allow people to come in?
It is something to think about that maybe some of the powers that be put these situations in place to make it a lot more plausible that these things could happen. If we hadn't let in tens of millions of illegals, it would be pretty hard to say, well, there are so many sleeper cells that came into the country during the time when the border was open. It's like, no, it wasn't open. It was closed. We were vetting a lot of people that came in. But if you leave the border wide open, it's a lot easier to say, well, so many came in. We don't know who's in here and what they want to do.
It crosses both parties. It's not like this is a Republican.
Oh, no, I know that.
Most young people are kind of like me, more independent. They're more independent. I know you're not suggesting that. I'm just saying that, it goes across both party lines, where they we can blame each other. Well, it was the last administration, but it's like, it's the last administration was obviously incompetent, but it's like, is it incompetence, or is it, again, is it allowed to be incompetent for some other reason? Why? It's really hard.
Younger people, just in general, are a lot less trusting in the government, and that's any time. But now, especially now, with all the other avenues of information you could get, or disinformation you could get, the youth of this country are very distrusting in the government. So you'd be hard-pressed to convince them and get them on your side, we need to get in there and kick Iran's ass. When I was a kid, that was great. I was in high school going, let's kick Iran's ass, because it was just cool. It was something that you wanted, we're America, let's go kick some ass. And now the youth is like, what's wrong with you? Let's pretty much stay out of this.
I just spent $97 on eggs and bacon. You know what I mean? It's not actually, but was there a lot of eggs going on where it's like, I really want to go spend more money. I really want to spend more money to kill somebody I've never met. I'm not saying that Iran's cool, Houthis are cool, Hamas is cool. I'm not out here in the streets yelling Free Palestine. I'm not one of those guys, but I think there's a lot of other people who are just tired. I'm tired, and when do we get a break? When do we get a break? World police, man, with a world damn police. Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate the call. Definitely. Yeah. The world police. Again. Oh, God. Let me see. Do I have enough time to do another one of these clowns? Another one of these damn clowns? I think I do. Let's see. 29 hard. Look at me. I'm working the clock. Maybe I'll do it next break. Here's, which one is this? Oh, a little fake news we had. Oh, I wanted to get this done. It's Maxine, but I don't know. I might have talked too long on the phone. We'll take one more call then, and then we'll get back on track after the next break. Of course, Sandra from Jersey. Sandra, how are you, dear?
Oh, I look forward to talking to you, Anthony.
Oh, of course. And the fans love when you call.
Well, let me say, I have three different thoughts. One, I will support Israel to the end. And the reason I say that is because I know that Iran wants death to Israel, and after Israel, they want death to the United States. So I don't want them to have those weapons. And from what I understand, I'm like you, Anthony, I don't know everything yet, but I'm learning, I'm listening. They were given 6 weeks to negotiate, and they didn't want to negotiate. So you really don't want them to have those weapons if they want to kill Israel and then us next. So that's my first thought. The second thing is you brought up Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
I went to Barnes & Noble's, and I was in my area that I love, current events, and I found a book written by him. And you know what it was called? the war against the Jews. Of all people, he writes that book. I mean, what did he ever do to help the Jewish people? That's my second thought. And then one more thing. I was reading a book that Bill O'Reilly wrote called Confronting the Presidents. And I'm up to Ulysses Grant. And he was a Republican, and he reminds me of Donald Trump. And you know they called him a dictator because he wanted the Ku Klux Klan wiped out. And he did. He got rid of them. They were very bad people. They were like Dr.
Who would have known that? Sandra, I love your points, but I'm going into a break. I appreciate your call. We adore you, Sandra. And we'll be back with a lot more. Your calls, 800-848-9222 on the Anthony Cumia Show.
WABC. The 77 WABC Advanced Site Contractors Chime Time is 9:30. For expert asphalt paving.
YouTube. Sometimes they like to mess with the volume on the live, like the audio, excuse me, especially during the playback. So, yeah, so my radio, the TF6686, and I'm gonna be able to update it more unless I open it up, because I look for different solutions on it. So that's it for that radio in terms of updating. I'm just waiting for the ads.
This is Talk Radio 77 WABC.
I'm trying to minimize the copyright side. I am getting hit with copyright like crazy. A little audio stuff, little audio jingles.
They were doing what they were paid to do.
I don't know about that.
We'll get off the Israel-Iran thing for a little bit. Don't worry about it. If you still want to talk about it, I'm sure we will speak more about it as the show goes on. I do want to get to our other segment, of course. Fake news.
Now.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
It's the fake news.
Fake stories.
News moment.
Oh, my goodness. There's so much fake news, isn't there? We don't even know what's fake and what's real. That's the real difficult thing to digest. I don't know. I watch some things, I go, yeah, that seems legitimate. And I consider myself of average intellect. We're getting to the point where it's very difficult. And then you bring AI into the whole thing. I am seeing videos that I really can't tell if it's AI or not. News videos where it's presented as news, which is much more dangerous than just a meme or some quick funny video. Usually you can tell those are AI because of the context. Now you're just like, oh my God, I did not know that was completely constructed in a computer. So fake news is becoming very hard to see. But when you get Maxine Waters involved, you know it's going to be fake news. This is Maxine. The ICE raids, of course, have caused all kinds of pandemonium across the country. We have the what do we have? The No Kings protest. We'll talk a little about that in a bit, and then we have protests about the deportations of illegals, and of course, LA is a hotspot for protests, crime, assaults of law enforcement officers. So obviously ICE has been doing its job under the Constitution. They have been apprehending illegals and putting them on the road to deportation. And somehow this is unconstitutional, dictatorship, it's no due process. No, if an illegal alien commits a crime here, they will stand trial with a judge and a jury, and they will get every due process that anyone else in this country is given. But Maxine seems to think that that isn't happening. It's unconstitutional, and that the people that are protesting peacefully, and that Donald Trump is trying to kind of incite them to violence. It was all fine. Everything was fine and dandy until Donald Trump told law enforcement and sent in the National Guard and Marines and whatever other law enforcement could stop this vandalism, arson, assaults on law enforcement. We saw it. And then they talk about, well, the vast majority have been peaceful protests. Show me one. Show me one peaceful protest that was happening in L.A. concerning the deportations. Show me one. I've not seen one. They keep telling me the vast majority. Only a few have resulted in violence, and mostly because Donald Trump has incited them to violence. Not one peaceful one. And if you see people standing in the middle of a highway and you call that peaceful, that's not. That is not protected free speech, freedom of expression, freedom to assemble. You're in the middle of a highway. It's illegal. You can be arrested. You can be forced off that roadway by law enforcement. So don't use that as an example of a peaceful protest. Other than that, show me one. Every news show you hear, they're mostly peaceful, but a few bad apples. No, all bad apples. Everyone bad apple. So here's Maxine blaming Donald Trump for the violence.
Local police, he should talk to the people that he's had deployed there, and he has a responsibility in all of this. He started this. There should be no violence. He should not continue to support violence. They should not be edged on and, provoked in any way, and that's what the President of the United States is doing, to exert his power and to show that he's in charge and to show that he's going to get the numbers that he promised to get people deported.
Are we allowed to use the word retarded on this station? I just want to know. I'm gonna run it past management, but just want to know, can we use the word retarded? I'll get back to you on that one. But wow, that is a representative of the people. People voted for her a lot, time and time again, and she consistently sounds like. Can we use the retarded on this station? It's astounding. All of them. I have not seen anyone on the left that I believe is sane. I don't think they have their mental faculties about them. The protesters, they are really off the rails. But even the politicians, because they're either insane liars, like unbelievable liars, or they're mentally ill. That's the only thing. They go before the American people and say stuff that we know are lies. Or they just sound mental. They sound absolutely crazy. And Maxine is, oh boy, she's been one of those for quite some time. I voted for deportations. I'm not alone. He won. That was a huge part of Donald Trump's platform. Get him out, round him up. We wanted that as Americans. And by the way, you want to know who's to blame? You want to be mad at someone or some entity for the fact that Donald Trump has to get rid of these people. It's a necessity. Our country cannot continue at this rate. Then get mad at the 4 years of Biden, whoever that was running that. Obama, I gather, even Republican presidents, Bush, they let people in. The border has never been as secure as it is now. And any president that did not secure the border is responsible for what is happening now. This is a necessity. We need to get rid of illegals in this country. There's just too many. It's affecting every aspect of American life. Our economy, absolutely. The amount of money that goes out to either support these people or incarcerate them or feed them, send them back, whatever it is, costs us money. And in the tens of millions of these people that have been let in, of course, it's going to cost a lot of money. Every aspect of our lives. So you're blaming the guy, like the bad guy is the guy that's trying to fix the problem and get rid of them. And meanwhile, the people that let them in the tens of millions are the good guys. Oh, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it, people? Yeah, perfect sense. I don't even like that Trump kind of pulled the reins back on it. And I don't know what his motivation is sometimes. Is it personal, like a lot of Democrats and these protesters say? Is he doing things to make his own business and life better? I don't know. I don't think so. He seems to want to put himself over with America by doing right by the people. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes he makes terrible mistakes. But I think genuinely, and maybe not even for the better of the country, maybe he just wants to look like a hero. I've said it before, presidents have to be narcissists. You can't be a normal thinking person that doesn't have some type of narcissist complex and think you're the one that can run the free world. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I don't even know if I'm training my dog right. That's like how what I don't know about my own capabilities. But to think you're the guy, yeah, I'll helm the planet. I'm good. You have to be an unbelievable narcissist. So the narcissistic thing isn't that much an insult. Like I said, I think every president is a narcissist. But in going with that, I think Trump really wants to have a legacy. I think he wants to get through this term and come out the other side where people go, damn, that was awesome. He fixed a lot of things and did this and that. So I don't know if he does a lot of things for personal wealth or anything else. People try to pin that on him all the time. He's making money. He's using the presidency to be. He doesn't even take a paycheck, for God's sake. And look at every other past president. They're multi-millionaires from being president. Trump already had money. So I don't know. But the thing I'm not agreeing with is he wants some leniency on farm and hotel and restaurant workers that are illegal. Now, there's a couple of ways to look at that, I guess. One is, well, what do we do? You can't throw them all out and then think we're going to fill the jobs tomorrow. But I think we can't throw them out that fast anyway. I think if we still throw out restaurant workers and farmers and hotel workers, I think the jobs could be filled by American workers. I don't buy that whole angle that Americans don't want to do that work. Well, how about you have to? How about there's openings? There's a demand. when there's a demand for jobs, the pay goes up. And I think any young American would do anything. I know, back in the day, as I call it, you'd take job. If it paid well, you took the job. It wasn't a job that was only for illegals or, I'm not going to do that. It's below me. If it's paying, then you'll take the job. If a farm has to pick the crops before they rot, they might not want to pay Americans what they want, but they're going to have to, or you're out of business. Does that mean the price of the produce goes up? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it does a little bit. Can that go hand in hand with us not supporting tens of millions of illegals? I'd rather pay an American high school kid that wants to bust trays at a restaurant or work at a hotel or pick vegetables in a farmer's field. I'd rather pay a little more than that than pay through the nose to support tens of millions of illegals. Oh, you want to pay more for strawberries? Yeah. If it means I'm not buying $500 hotel rooms in Manhattan for illegals. It all balances out. So the idea that Americans won't do the work is crap. It's garbage. I don't buy that for a second. So, and the only thing I see in this Trump saying that he wants a little leniency as far as ICE goes with farm workers, hotel workers, and restaurant workers is that, I don't think Trump owns a farm, E-I-E-I-O, but he does own hotels and restaurants in the hotels and things. So that does seem a little self-serving. If one of the Trump hotels in Chicago or something calls and goes, hey, Donald, we have no housekeepers. What the hell are you doing to us? I believe we should let the hotel worker. It does seem a little self-serving, but I think we got to bite the bullet and run with this and just get them out. Get them out. Americans will fill those jobs, and we will save money on supporting this nonsense that's going on. So I don't know. I don't know how that was fake news with Maxine Waters. I don't know how we kind of delved into that. Because, well, I bet Maxine would be stupid on that too. Maybe that's where I wanted to go with that. Let's take another call. This here is Devin from New York about Chuck Schumer. What's up? Yellow.
Anthony?
Hey, this is Anthony. How are you, sir?
Hi there. I cannot believe I'm actually getting to speak to the legend.
Crazy, right?
Yes, it is. I just wanted to say two things. I admire all the work you've done over the years. I listen to, I actually work third shift, so I got to go in soon. But
that's tough.
Yeah, I listen to old O&A clips online just for entertainment at night at work. But yeah, that Chuck Schumer clip that's just infuriating to hear. He wants to say disgusting. I mean, I live in New York and we have the highest tax burden in the nation. I mean, to me, that's what's really disgusting.
Yeah, that's not disgusting to him. The people that have been murdered by illegals in this country, he's never said that was disgusting. I've never heard that. But seeing a senator that ran in and was dealt with by law enforcement in the way he absolutely should have been dealt with, he deems that disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't understand how Schumer keeps getting reelected. I really don't.
I do not get it. I talk to a lot of New Yorkers, man, and I don't know one of the people I've ever spoken to that actually.
You're lucky you got out of here, man. You're lucky.
Yeah, believe me. I had a few visitors this weekend, and everyone was just talking about how awesome it is down here in Greenville, and I couldn't be happier. New York is.
I'm happy for you.
It's fallen.
Yeah,
New York has fallen.
This state's not a good place to be, man. It's not. I mean, it's beautiful, like.
If it was under
family are.
If it was under good management, governors, senators,
yeah.
a mayor in New York City, representatives, it would be beautiful. It has everything any other state has to offer. You look at New York State as far as, you can go to the mountains. You can go to some of the greatest beaches in the country. You have the pinnacle of the city. New York City is the pinnacle of the free world. And they screwed it all up. It's all garbage now. Amazing.
Yeah. It's
thanks.
And
I gotta go. I got a break coming up, Dev. My friend Devin. But thank you for your call, my good friend. Yeah. I mean, that's the world we're living in. The people in charge, supposedly representing you, can totally screw up an amazing state like New York. Look at New York in no other way but geographically, and you would go, this is an amazing place to live. And then you place these people in the state and make it one of the worst places to live. California, too. I mean, look at California, another state that's just geographically, look at it. It's beautiful. Should be a paradise. And they screw it up at every turn. Back in a flash with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Divorce isn't failure. It's a fresh start. The Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili, the Fresh Start people, helping folks just like you for over 40 years walk with confidence. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com.
Precision, performance, and professionalism. That's Advanced Site Contractors. Visit advancedsitecontractors.com. From expert asphalt paving to full-scale site work, they lay the groundwork for success. Have a VPP plan? They've got it covered. Serving all 5 boroughs and the tri-state area. They deliver quality that lasts on time and on budget. Advanced Site Contractors. Call now, 718-984-7483 or advancedsitecontractors.com. Ryan Clark and WABC folks are real New York. Whipping out free speech.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
The Anthony Cumia Show. We go right back to the phones with the lovely Susan from somewhere upstate in New York. Obviously, it is Father's Day, and Susan wants to talk about Father's Day. What's up, Susan? How you been?
Hi. I'm just doing great. When I'm listening to you, this show is like really, it's very got a lot of dips and great waves up and down.
I like that. Thank you, Susan.
Keeps us on the edge of our seat, Anthony.
Yes, we try here at the Anthony Cumia Show.
Yeah, but you know what? You always even it out to a nice glassy lake there at the end. So but I love the way you start out the show, and then all the other topics that have come out about how a father has so much influence. Obviously, both parents, but it's Father's Day. And, we talk a lot about, at the influence on boys, especially with fathers or without fathers, how that, the differences. But you can't really put a broad net because then you look at someone like, oh my God, I'm just had a blank out.
Just take another shot. Take another shot.
Okay, thanks. Ben Carson. That was very helpful.
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson.
Yes.
Okay.
Brain surgeon.
Okay. Whose mother was, she didn't know how to read. She had 6 children. He never had a father.
What a surprise.
But the thing is that look how he turned out.
Yes, there are anomalies, Susan. There are anomalies. There are exceptions to the rule. But mostly we deal with the rule, which dictates that a child born or raised in a household with a single parent will not fare as well as one raised in a father-mother environment.
Completely, but none of it is perfect. Even in the most perfect
Susan,
situations,
I understand what you're
adversity.
saying. I hope my point didn't get lost, because I wasn't saying that people don't have the potential, regardless of their circumstance, parental circumstance, when they're being raised. I get that. All I'm saying is, my biggest point on this was that liberal Democrats, mental patients, are trying to tear that down. It happens. It happens a lot. Some things will happen where a parent has to raise their children alone. It's terrible, but some do a very good job, and you get a lot of people that come out at the other end as great people, contributors to our societies. But it's the people that are trying to tear those institutions down and badmouth that a dual father, mother, parent atmosphere for kids, that it's somehow white supremacy. It's more unhealthy than if the kid has 2 dads or 2 moms. Those are the people I'm really getting on, not so much that people have to raise their kids alone sometimes, and many of them can do a good job. I never meant to make it sound like I didn't mean that.
And that's not what I'm saying that I got from what you said.
Well, thank you, Susan.
Also, that the situation that having the father-daughter relationship that I never really even understood completely, but now looking back, that the father as a role model to his daughter as to what type of a male that would be a good situation for her, and how he treats his wife. Not so much of treating the girl like daddy's little girl.
They're watching it like, what's the example? I see the way my dad treats my mom, and that's a man that I would hope I would get to marry when I get older. I mean, if you find a girl that is completely screwed up, you will find either an absent dad or a dad that is so awful. Because it's very rare that a girl will go into things that were, let's say, an unhealthy lifestyle, Susan, if I may. If there is a loving, caring, disciplinary father in the family there. Thank you, Susan. I gotta go. Have one for me. Have a spritzer for the nightcap, and we'll talk to you next week. There goes the lovely Susan. Gotta love her. Come on. She actually didn't sound that hammered tonight. I'm kidding. She did. She did completely. What are we looking at here? Okay, we'll come back. We got other things to talk about. Governor DeSantis on the fact that you can run over people if they try to get into your car, and the Florida sheriff saying that if you're rioting, you're in trouble. Back in
The 77 WABC's Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili chime time is 10 o'clock.
The Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili, helping people.
Yeah, I know. I did that last last summer when I did my first. I only did one update on it. It was from the original to 2.11, and I did the screwdriver, but I couldn't find that one, and I used something else, and that's when I messed it up. I used a long piece of actually it was a paper clip, but it was a big one, the big size paper clip, and I bent it to fit it in there, and I guess I went beyond it, and at first I felt the button, and then I tried again, the button was gone, so it must have broke. Either the button broke or something. Then I had found another jewelry screwdriver that my brother had, and I tried that, but it's nothing there now. There's no resistance there now.
The president highlighted different battles
So it's all
that
gone.
have happened over the years in different wars. Trump said,
And I even thought I broke the headphone jack. So I plugged in my earbuds. They worked fine. But the button behind the tiny button that's behind the headphone jack is gone. So I think it broke. But yeah, that's what I used the last time. I used a screwdriver from but I couldn't find my screwdriver for that one. So actually, what I'm gonna do is when I do buy another one, I'm just gonna get there's a tool, it's a plastic tool. It's the same thing. But this time I'm gonna keep it in a safe place. Because you know how we are. Well, I don't know about you, but I sometimes I have a mess here. And sometimes I forget where my stuff is at. And that's what happened. I should have found the proper tool, and I did, and I used a long, bended straight paper clip, and I kept poking in there, and until it was gone. Hello, James Farley. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. Happy Father's Day.
Or jet fuel, or even the price of plastic. So this could be pretty far-reaching.
Prices rose about $4 a barrel after the strikes on Thursday. An oil price analyst described the impacts from the strikes as likely to be temporary. However, the price increase may also be felt by drivers.
But I hate that the button is in there. I really hate it. I would never feel comfortable with that.
Over 460 employees at the CDC are
but I had to I did update to 2.11. That was the original when I first bought it. But I don't like that the reboot button or the boot button, excuse me. Because it's just things can go wrong with that boot button. Now, of course, I went to some forums and I saw that you can open it up, and I think you have to either cut the jumper or solder a jumper to disable that. Because when you do the software, when I ask you the question, remember when you get to the point where you saw the software to update, and it says, does yours have the boot button? And you answer yes. Because of course, but I put no to see what happened, and there's a whole nother procedure. So I think if I open it up and I mess with the jumper, I think I can disable that. And then I have to do the alternate method. So if you answer yes with the boot, then you do it the way you guys do it with the button, with the the way you said, the way we did it. But if you answer no, I think you have to I had open it up. There's a way to disable. I think you have to cut the jumper, if I remember, or something. I have to look into it. But anyway, I was planning to get another one anyway. So this one is I'm not gonna bother updating it anymore. It's well, I'm not gonna be able to anyway unless I fix it. But eventually I'm gonna get another one because I do want to do that. But now I'm thinking about getting the DP666. instead of getting the same one desktop model. Because I like the 666. That's the one with the touchscreen. That's also the one with the numeric keypad. So maybe what I'll do is I'll use this one, you know, the one that I have now as the DX server. Because I can still run FMDX web server on this one. But for FMDX server, you just need 2.1 and up. So I can still run FMDX web server. In fact, I had it set up, but I ran into a glitch on that, but that was more my fault. But anyway, I want to do that on another computer. It did work, but I'll show you what I've done so far real quick. So as you can see, I already put up another shelf. And by the end of the week, I will order the L-shaped desk for down here. But I already went ahead and put a shelf up here. And I got already switches bolted or screwed on. Even the FM loop grounded to my Sony. And it worked pretty good. Actually, right now, the FM loop right now is connected, but I had it with just a regular dipole on a shelf, and I picked up WIP out of Philadelphia sports station the night before, but it wasn't loud. I could hear it because I went to that DX web server, the guy from New Jersey, and I was tuning while he was tuning, and I picked up, of course, WHYY, WIP. I even picked up WBAZ out of Eastern Long Island with a simple dipole, with a simple wire dipole indoors. So that receiver is very sensitive on FM. Very sensitive. All right, back to the Anthony Cumia show.
On a lot of topics this evening. One of which, of course, earlier Clown of the Week we did, and it was 4 clowns. And I want to get the 2 that are left out there so we could expose all the clowns of this week. Of course, talking about the Padilla debacle where he walked in, kind of ran in to a speech given by the Homeland Security Secretary, and the police, doing their job, grabbed him, put him to the ground, and cuffed him. He was trying to get up and run back to the podium. No one knew who this guy was. And every politician, every Democrat politician, has to make it like it was the worst thing they've ever seen, like you dragged out 10 representatives, put them on a post, 10 posts in front of a wall and shot them. That's the drama they're trying to conjure up here. And, of course, Elizabeth Warren had to be another one who chimes in with her take on this horrible assault on our democracy. Here's Liz Warren talking about Padilla getting thrown out of a press conference.
When Senator Padilla pushed, shoved, thrown to the handcuffed because he is asking questions, because he is engaging in the very oversight that senators are supposed to engage in, then what we're really talking about here is a Trump administration that just wants to shut down the ordinary functions of government. Look, I don't want to oversight myself. I ask a lot of questions because that's how it works in a democracy. We use our words to hold people accountable. We don't use our fists. We don't shove. We don't try to knock people down. We use our words. That's what oversight is all about. And that's what I want to go before the Senate to talk about. I think it is time for every senator, every member of Congress, Democrat or Republican, to stand up and say what Donald Trump has done is wrong.
Yeah, that'll happen. Hi. That voice. Ugh. God, I couldn't imagine it. Could not imagine.
It's annoying.
You get married, like, I don't know when she got married to her husband. Her husband seems like a real cuck anyway. That time she's like, have a beer. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to drink me a beer. Whoa, hey, tough guy. And then she had her husband there, and he was all like, no, hon, no thanks, honey. I have some lemonade. That voice, how long does it take before it goes from, it's the new girl I just met. Oh, I'm getting engaged. We're getting married. Maybe a little wild side. And then it's, oh, yeah. Jeez. So, that was her take on the whole thing. And again, making it sound like Trump is imprisoning his opponents, where actually the Democrats, the Biden puppet regime, whatever it was, they tried to put Donald Trump in prison. That was tyranny. That was a dictatorship, or at least dictatorship tactics.
The irony, right?
Here's your number one opponent, the opponent that's polling better than you, the guy that's going to run. He's got the Republican nomination, and you're debating him. You're trying to let the American people know that you have a better platform than him. No, you're trying to put him in prison. And then some dummy runs into a press conference and charges the podium. Was it a Q&A? Not at that moment. I don't think people understand. I don't think Liz Warren understood that a Q&A comes after the person's done speaking. I think if you went to any event and someone was up there talking, anything, a movie. Hey, I saw, I went to a movie theater and saw The Wrath of Khan because Bill Shatner is going to do a Q&A after the movie. And during, the movie, I run up to Bill Shatner. Hey, what happened with Spock? Yeah, you're getting thrown out. You're a mental patient. You're a problem. You're a potential threat. That's what he did. That's what Padilla did. And they want to make it sound like he was standing there with his credentials on. He was asked a question. He went to ask the question. And they just tackled him. Excuse me, Madam Secretary, I would like to, boof, and they just tackle him. That's what they want you to think happened. It isn't. We saw it. So that's your third clown of the night. There's one left. One clown left. And you could probably figure it out. It's a he, and he's always got his mitts in this nonsense. There was an assassination. Representative Melissa Hortman, is that her name? Yeah, something like that. Hortman. She was shot, as was her husband, who is still alive. Another representative was shot by this gentleman, Vance Bolter. I got the story here. Please hold. Minnesota suspect served on state board with one of the victims. Vance Bolter appointed more than once to the Workforce Development Board, where he served with State Senator John A. Hoffman, who was also shot on Saturday. This guy was appointed by Governor Tim Walz. It could have been our VP. If only Kamala won. This would have been our vice president. A guy that appointed an assassin. Oh, my God. Don't mean to laugh. Not trying to make light of the dead. Yeah, let's see. Here's part of this, I guess, is the most recent update. The search for Vance Bolter, the suspect in the shooting of Minnesota lawmaker Melissa Hortman, continues. This guy walked up to her door, and I think people have seen the picture. He was wearing a full head mask, covered his entire head, latex mask. I've seen these things. They're pretty creepy looking. He was dressed in police gear. He had a police car. He's involved with a security company, is what it is. So he had a car that was pretty much a replica of one of the local police cars. And his uniform, well, you wouldn't have questioned it. The Ring camera picture is frightening. It looks like Friday the 13th or Halloween or something. And, I'm not one for victim blaming here, but seeing that picture and knowing they had Ring, that's where the picture came from. Why the hell would you open that door? I would mag dump right through the front door. It's literally a horror movie character standing out there. But they opened the door, and this guy shot them, killed them. And so far, they haven't gotten him. The story gets weirder from there. He was in the house. The police showed up, because I guess they got a call from neighbors that heard gunfire. One neighbor said he saw the car backing away and wondered why the cops were leaving after a shooting. And that doesn't make sense because the cops said they showed up and the guy was still there. And they traded shots with him. Here's a .45. Take my 9mm. We'll trade. They exchanged gunfire. Here. And then he got away. How does that happen? He shoots a representative, and he somehow slips away like it's the Old West. So I don't know. He's still on the loose. I guess they detained his wife, who had on her person a passport, a lot of money, ammunition. I mean, she was obviously going to aid her husband. So this is just another one of these weird things. None of this ever makes sense. This is always stuff that makes people have to come up with some conspiracy thing. And then everyone goes, oh, stop. Oh, it wasn't. Like the Trump assassins. The one that was killed in Pennsylvania, and then the other one that was arrested at the golf course that we have not heard hide nor hair about that whole thing. And then they just keep doing things like this. Oh, this guy just got away after shooting it out with the cops in a residential area, and they can't find him. And then they get his wife, who supposedly was going to aid him with passport money and bullets. I don't know. Again, another thing, I don't want to be a conspiracy guy. I'd rather know everything and just sit here and go, well, that makes total sense. I'll go with that. But they're just making it much more difficult to come to those conclusions, those rational conclusions. A little more on this and plenty of other things in moments. More of the Anthony Cumia Show.
This is the Anthony Cumia.
Listen to this podcast now.
You see how it drifts? Yeah, it's just no. This is a drifter. This drifts like nobody's business. They held up all this time for over 2 hours. Then I saw the SP to go all the way down here. So sometimes you gotta hit the band
You're not. How do you get that? How do you process? Look, it's not easy, Ernie. It's work. It really takes work. You have to realize that there's a spiritual concept that we're born
Yeah, this one drifts. This and the DX-302. Oh my God. Oh my! But this one drifts on shortwave. Yeah, sideband is horrible. Yeah, sideband is horrible.
ruin our child's life today. You can make a choice to change the way you think. Download all of Red Apple.
But hook this up to MLA30. It's not bad.
The 77 WABC's Staten Island law firm of Angeli and Gentili chime time is 10:30. For 40 years, the Staten Island law firm of Angeli and Gentili has been helping people just like you. Call 718-816-0005 or visit AGLaw.
Yeah. And this also right now, my LED lights, I have to have them off. Otherwise, it'll just kill the.
Listen to 77 WABC anytime you want. Get the latest podcasts, common sense news, and find out what the heck is going on. WABCRadio.com.
I guess it warmed up.
New York proud, New York loud, New York excellent. Radio 77 WABC. This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra. In Colorado Springs, a local school board now says student athletes must compete based on their biological sex at birth. Board President Parth Malpass.
Yeah, you be close enough.
About fairness in girls' sports, as well as protecting all students.
I'm a father of a daughter, and I want to make sure my daughter and other females also have a neutral level playing field. That's about all this is about.
Critics say the policy singles out and harms transgender and non-binary youth. And this is the second school district in Colorado's El Paso County to take that step. The board also approved a ban on most classroom flags, only allowing those policies set to take effect next school year. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
For the vote, crying that she had to make that vote. I mean, can we just keep men in these jobs, please? And then this guy shoots her and kills her. And he was apparently a guy that was very into these social causes. I guess he went over to Africa and was helping out some Africans. Not something you would normally see a conservative doing. Yet I've heard people, again, the mis or disinformation, saying that he was a Trump supporter, a Republican, he's a MAGA guy, but he had no Kings flyers in his vehicle, and none of it makes sense. Again, there's so much garbage, bull going around that no one knows the real story anymore. I would assume if Governor Tim Walz had appointed him to anything, he's certainly not a MAGA guy. I know that much. But then there's this real strange thing. This guy's married, got a wife, kids, a nice home. He apparently was doing very well for himself. A lot of money. And what do we got? We got a roommate that got almost a love text from this guy that made the roommate cry. What? Huh? Can we listen to some of this? Here's the roommate of assassin Vance Bolter.
So I just want to leave. I wish it hadn't gone this way. I don't want to say anything more and implicate you in any way. Because you guys don't know anything about this. I love you guys, and I'm sorry for all the trouble this has caused. He was a loving, caring guy, you know, loved his family, loved his friends, and loved God, and I don't know why he did what he did. It's just
friends. Trust me. Trust me. I wish I could have been there to stop him.
To help him shoot someone? Huh? Wish you could have been there? This guy, by the way, if I may conjure an image for you, it's, 2025, so I'm sure you've seen him, but a fat guy, greasy hair. He looks like any stereotypical guy you would think sits in his basement playing role-play video games. And he's a roommate? Is it a former roommate? How long ago were they roommates? This guy's married with kids and has a nice house. Well, he's like, hey, hon, I'm spending the night at the apartment with my roommate. So none of that makes any sense. And I believe a lot of people are getting this guy, like this Vance guy, Vance Bolter, what he's all about, or what he was all about through this guy. Maybe 10, 12, 15, 20 years ago, he was roommates with this guy, and he had a certain political ideology, and now he does this, and the roommate's like, I don't know. Why would you do this? Oh, you fruit. Never cry on TV. I'll just put that out. That is my public service announcement to everyone out there today. Never cry on TV. Don't cry on TV. Don't cry in front of your girlfriend or fiance. You could probably get away with some tears in front of your wife if mom or dad dies. Then, and believe me, it's one of those, like the Old West, when the dad comes up to the kid and goes, you could cry for 3 minutes and then I never want to see you cry again. Old West movie, or My Father. But don't cry in front of your girlfriend or fiance. They will never forget it, and it's never a good image for them to have. And don't cry on TV. Then everyone sees. And now, 2025, it's readily available. If I was one of these guys, supposed friends, I would just be sending GIFs and memes and all kinds of videos of him weeping on television. But I digress. How does this guy know this guy? Roommate. Like I said, his wife was caught bringing the fugitive husband passport money and bullets for his gun. So how in the life of this guy is this roommate? It makes no sense. Why doesn't anything make any sense anymore? I don't know. So they're searching for this guy. They found his hat, which I thought was another weird thing. They found like a car, and someone in the area had heard some gunshots, and they found his hat. There was no hole in the hat or any blood or anything. So I don't know. And they said he's been in contact with other people, but they don't know if anyone else was involved with what he was doing. But something has led them to the assumption that he has been in contact with other people, which would lead me to believe he's not just going to off himself, Like, people that do that, they assassinate someone or kill someone or do whatever, and then they kill themselves. You don't usually get in touch with somebody beforehand unless you tell them, hey, take it easy. Here's what I'm doing. But if they say they don't know if he's getting help from these people, then, again, who knows? Are we at 28:30 or 29:30? 29. Nice. See? I'm talking to Mission Control over there. Mission Control. All right, then we have time for let me see, 28, 29. We'll take a quick call about Damon. Damon's been waiting a while. Damon, L.A., what's up? Hello? There you are. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, make it quick. We got a little bit of time. You got to make it quick.
Okay, I'm going to make it very, very quick. Regarding Trump,
What do you know about Trump? You know about OPEC, the oil prices?
Yeah, what about, we don't really, we're not as beholden to OPEC as we used to be. We have a lot of our own energy these days. We were the #1 energy exporter during his first term. So what do you have about OPEC?
Well, I think OPEC in the news, he said that the gas prices are too high. He said they're making the gas price too high on it.
Yeah, well, a war anywhere in the Middle East is going to drive up OPEC's prices, but we could handle it. We drill, baby, drill. What happened to that? Frack the hell out of it, you mother fracker. Let's do it.
No, what do you say? You can curse. It's okay.
I got you. All right, man. I'll thank you for the call, though. Frack, that's what I say. Frack the frackin' frackers. We will be back in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Stick around.
Yeah. James Farley said he's looking ready, but even though it's clickbait, it's not clickbait. I mean, it's in great condition. I bought the radio like 7 years ago. And then I got it for a total of $50. So, and I got it from eBay. So, like I said, I just find the deal and then I just boom, snatch it. Because this radio was not gonna last on eBay. For that price, it was gonna be gone. It's in great condition. It's no work done to it, nothing. Yeah, motherfucker. So no recap, no nothing. Whoever had this radio before me, probably rarely used it. So it's in pretty much almost in mint condition.
Radio 77 WABC.
I mean, it doesn't have any tone control, but
They were doing what they were paid to do. Shock.
Yep, the Cumia Show. Tuning in on this wonderful Father's Day for your dads. Hope you had a great day. It's kind of annoying, right?
Just want to be left alone. Like the perfect Father's Day for a dad is just leave me alone. I'll put on a movie I want to see. If you want to come up and go, I just need a little help with that, that's the Father's Day gift. Could you just help me with that? No.
Yeah.
I just want to watch Aliens for the 8,000th time and enjoy the hell out of it. We have one more clown of the week. There were 4 this week because the Padilla debacle, where Senator Padilla walked in to the Homeland Security Secretary's speech and just rushed the podium. And the police tackled him to the ground, as they should, and he kept trying to get up and move closer toward the podium, and they took him out the door of the room and handcuffed him, and exactly what they should have done. And we've been through Chuck Schumer. His take on it was that it was terrible, undemocratic, criminal, and tyrannical, as was Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren. But more dramatic, I think, than all of them put together is our last clown of the week, Cory Booker from the great state of New Jersey. He could make anything drama. So this was right up his alley, and, well, as probably other things are, if you get my drift. Let's listen to Cory talk about the horror of having to watch a United States senator thrown to the ground. Here's Cory Booker.
If you could make Alex Padilla, I have a dream, kneel before this executive, when does it stop? He's a United States senator. And if you could force him to kneel to his knees violently, when does it stop? Kneel before other Americans who want to speak up. What does it say to other Americans that want to exercise their constitutional duty? What does it say to other Americans this weekend when they want to peacefully protest? What does it say to other Americans from humble backgrounds who know poverty? That if a United States senator
who stands up to do its job can be made to heel, driven to his knees, violently handcuffed. What does it say? What message does it send? Everybody in this body should see that this is a crossroads. They treated a member of the United States Senate violently, and he identified himself, dragged him out of a room, threw him upon the ground, and put him in handcuffs. Every member of this body should object to that. Why? Because they like you. Wasn't he was disrespectful. That is unacceptable. That is offensive. That is un-American. When you drive a man to his knees in the United States of America, that is wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. This is a test. This is a crossroads. This is a day in which the character of this body will be defined.
I think we can all agree that as far as the clown of the week the clowns of the week goes, Cory Booker just won that one. Congrats, Cory. You took the title from Schumer, Warren, and Buttigieg. Holy mackerel, did he go off. Wow! Look, I understand things like passion. And you know, you want to get your point across. You want to make a mark in this world. But ripping off Martin Luther King, I don't get it. That whole, wow, we're gonna, Cory Booker is an idiot. And that was so over the top. Driven to his knees. He wants you to conjure up this image in your head of a man being held in chains. And then they smack the back of his knees with some type of a branch or something, or a metal bar. And he goes, oh, and he's driven to his knees. He's just making stuff up. This is pure fiction. Pure fiction. Oh, I did so enjoy that. Does he think he gets mileage out of this? Does he think people listen to him and then they go, yeah, Cory. I'll tell you who does. Mental patients. I use that word or that phrase a lot on this show, mental patients, because I believe there are, and not figuratively speaking, literally speaking, that these are mentally ill people. And I'm not saying Cory Booker is mentally ill. He might be. But people like Cory and Warren and Buttigieg and Schumer and so many more, they cater to the mentally ill. They love weak-minded people, malleable people that they can mold into their own ideology. So when he spouts off like this, he has to know that a large majority of people are looking at him and going, what an idiot. What a lying, imbecilic idiot this guy is. But he knows that his constituents and the people that vote for him, the people they bamboozled over the years, love it. That's our leader. That's Cory Booker. He's saying what I want to say. Yes, driven to his knees. Get out of here. Oh, it's embarrassing. Just embarrassing. So we have this No Kings protest, which, again, lunatics, mental patients, literally insane people. And you can tell this by watching normal people. They don't even have to be conservatives. They could be just a person that wants to get in there and interview these people and find out what they're protesting. Is that so much to ask of a protester? I believe if I was passionate enough to protest about something, I would want the opposition, especially if they were a member of the media or the alt media or they have a podcast, whatever it is. I would want them to come up to me and go, what are you protesting? Because I would go, oh, I took some time. I made a sign. I came out here for what? To preach to the converted? Everyone that's around me feels the same way. So I hope somebody of a different ideology could come up and ask me, so I could tell them, here is what I believe. They get pissed when anyone comes up and asks them a question about their ideology, why they're out there. You're out here. You're in with a bunch of people. You went through the trouble, the time to come here, make a sign. You have family members with you, maybe a child. You're brainwashing. And they shun the people that are asking them questions. That just tells me you're here for the tang, for the vibe. You don't know anything, but your life is so empty, so devoid of anything, fun, company, conversation, that you need to run out and do this just to be amongst people. Because you're crazy. No one wants to talk to you that knows you because you're a mental patient. So you can get in the midst of a bunch of mental patients, and that's now your day out. No king. Let me tell you something, people. If Trump was a king, there couldn't be a no king protest. You get that?
Exactly.
Can these people understand that, the dictator, the awful tyrannical dictator, wouldn't allow a protest that called them a dictator? Look at dictatorships all over. Did you ever hear of a group marching against Stalin or Mussolini or Lenin or Kim Jong-un? How many North Korean protests do you see where it's like, this guy is tyrannical? None. Ever. You're dead if you do that. And Trump is like, yeah, they're allowed. Now, when you start breaking the rules and laws and blocking traffic and vandalizing and burning places and looting and assaulting officers, that isn't protest anymore. And the police are well within the bounds of the law to smash you in the head. And they don't even do that much. So the whole no kings thing is, again, let me check my text. Has the boss gotten back to me on the use of the word retard or retarded? No, not yet. Okay, all right. Anyway, it's crazy, these people. They're crazy. Here's a protester that has no clue why they're out there or what they have against Donald Trump. I've seen this so many times. And she uses the normal thing you hear every single time you ask one of these people. So what did Trump do that's so bad or that's racist or sexist or against whatever it is? And they go, oh, there's just so much. And then they always ask him, well, how about just one? And what do you get?
By the way, I actually saw protesters with Burger King hats.
That runs away from the question. And again, like I said, if you took the time
actually
to be out there, you're passionate enough to hate somebody enough to make a sign and badmouth them and what have you, you would welcome the opposition media asking you questions. Now I'm going to school you. You sure you want to know this? Because I have educated myself on this topic, and you are going to hear some stuff you may not want to hear. No, they run away with their blue hair and their facial jewelry. Looks like Yeah, go to Claire's, go to Forever 21, drop a bunch of jewelry down a shotgun barrel, and blast them in the face. That's what they look like. Is that an earring in your eyelid? Is that what that is? So here's one of the protesters with no clue whatsoever. Listen.
All right, guys. Let's see. So bad, even the introvert showed up. Are you an introvert?
I am.
Okay. What's so bad? What's so bad?
This whole mess. This whole mess is so bad.
So it seems like, then, just so we can actually know why you're out here. Just one. That's all I'm asking. Not two, not three, just one.
Well, lack of due process for one.
Who? What are you speaking of?
You know what the hell I'm speaking of.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I don't know what you're speaking of. Can you give one example?
I just did.
What was the example?
Lack of due process.
What due process has not occurred?
The fact that they're snatching people off the street and not giving them their due process. It's easy enough to understand, isn't it?
No, I'm like, I don't understand who hasn't got due process. Can you name someone that hasn't?
Mr. Obrego Garcia, for one.
Huh. In what way did he not get due process? Was he breaking the law? Did he follow the law when he entered America? So you have tons of problems that it seems to me like you can't even come up with one answer. Am I wrong?
And then she runs away. They will run away. It's so easy to catch them because they have no clue what they're talking about. And they're all mentally ill. I'm not even kidding. I'm not exaggerating. It's not hyperbole. They are all mentally ill. Find me one of these people. Walk up with a camera, microphone, your phone during these protests. Find one rational person that can make a rational argument for why they are there. I have never seen it. I don't cherry pick. I watch videos from everybody, and I've never seen one person come up with a rational debate about why they are there. They're all insane, and they run away the second they realize they've been exposed, which does not take long. That was very quick. Usually, they hold their sign up in front of the camera. They say, I'm not talking to you. And again, if you wanted to get your point across, who better to debate than a person that you consider the opposition? Here's another one. This one's awesome. This is what the mainstream media has done to especially the elderly. This is elder abuse. They watch the news. That's all they know. They don't know. They're in their 70s. They watch CNN or MSNBC because I like that girl. She thinks like me. You don't think at all. So I don't even know what you're talking about. But they petrified the elderly into thinking their Medicaid and their Social Security are going to be taken away, when what the Trump administration is doing and what Doge was doing, maybe still is without Elon, is cutting the programs, the red tape, the bureaucracy of Medicaid and Social Security and the Veterans Administration. And then they go, oh, they're after vets. They're cutting vets' benefits. No, vets will get their money, but it doesn't take 10 people to do the job of one person. That's the bureaucracy. That's the waste. But they see it and go, oh, they're cutting the veterans. They're cutting Social Security. So they, these weak-minded elderly boomer, who, by the way, are the majority of the people protesting. I saw a clip out of Florida. They're letting people out of the retirement home with crowns, little paper crowns like Burger King crowns, on their head, and they're slowly walking out to protest No Kings. This is what they're doing to these old people. This is elder abuse. So listen to this poor old dummy who's petrified, literally crying with fear that Trump is going to do something to her at 74 years old. Really? Listen to this.
I'm just so scared. I'm 74 years old. I'm worried about everything. And I just feel so scared. And I don't understand why people just voted for this person.
I got just scared. I don't understand. Yes, thank you for saying it. You don't understand. Look, I don't want to beat up on the elderly here, but they have an impact on things like elections and policy. And they're idiots. This woman doesn't know what's going on. She's so brainwashed by mainstream media that she's crying in fear, standing out there. I like the helicopter flying overhead. How do you shoot women and children? You just don't lead them so much. My God, my God. We will be back in seconds with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
Danny brand muffins. I like cornbread muffins. I'm not a brand muffin guy, so get your facts correct. Dave me. I'm a corn muffin guy. There you go. See, at least they won't wear pink. Yeah. I don't like brand. I don't like nothing brand. I'm a corn muffin. I even like blueberry muffins. I like blueberry muffins. Yeah, blueberry muffins I like too. Yeah, I like blueberry muffins. Yeah, that's the biggest lie. In her job, that's what her co-workers are talking about. Oh, they're gonna cut Medicaid. No, they are. It's Medicaid and it's for able-bodied people. That's it. But that's a lie. That's a lie. Medicaid for able-bodied people. That means if you're single, you have no children, you're not a mom, you're talking about able-bodied, working age, not on disability, none of that. I'm talking about able-bodied people. Then you're gonna have to work for your Medicaid. That sounds reasonable. It's been going on for years. But of course, they lie about that. They say he's going after your Medicaid.
The board also approved a ban on most classroom.
And that's a lie.
Only allowing U.S., Colorado, and military.
My wife hears that at her job all the time. Some uninformed co-worker saying, "Oh, they're gonna cut Medicaid." No, it's not. Just stop. Yeah. So anyway, I like my muffins, corn or blueberry. Thank you very much.
Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go right back to the phone. Jan on Long Island. What's up, Jan?
Hi, I just wanted to remind you about George Bush. He was the one who started that Americans don't want to do physical labor. He planted that seed ages ago, and I know I was furious at the time. I couldn't understand why anybody would say anything so ridiculous. But it's all part of the process. It's all part of the pre-planned Clinton Bush. What do you call uniparty?
Isn't it amazing, Jan, that we looked at Clinton and Bush as polar opposites? Like they were as far apart, like Clinton, the unbelievable liberal Democrat, and Bush was the staunch conservative Republican. And after so many years now, we realize they are two peas in a pod, the same thing. They take pictures together. Their families hang out. It was all the same agenda, just under this different camouflage of liberal or conservative.
It's all designed to advance the, I guess, the ruination of the country. I mean, Woodrow Wilson was a communist. I never learned that when I was in school.
No, we were like, oh, this good guy, right? Woody Wilson. He's the guy that's going to, welfare and take care of Americans. And then you realize, oh, he's a commie. He's literally a communist. Yeah, we're learning a lot in a very short period of time.
Thank God.
And very recently.
Better late than never.
Yep. I appreciate it, Jen. Thank you for the call. What happened? What the hell happened? I want to play a quick clip here from, and this has to do with the LA protest riots. Here's Moby. Moby is standing in a place in LA where I assume he lives, which is just pristine, wonderful. No badness happens around Moby. He's a multimillionaire. And he's trying to tell people that, hey, the riots that the National Guard has been brought in for aren't happening because Moby doesn't see it right outside his house. Let's listen to Moby.
Hi, if you watch Fox News, you're aware Los Angeles is currently gripped by all this chaos and apocalypse. I mean, look at all the chaos and apocalypse, right? I mean, chaos, apocalypse.
Yeah, because nothing's happening near Moby. And Kimmel did the same thing. He's about a piece of... Yeah. And he did a show, and then he was showing Hollywood, Grauman's Chinese Theater, and all the people dressed like Batman. And he's like, oh, this is the pandemonium? This is the rioting that's happening? And it's so disingenuous. It's such a lie because it's not happening right where you are. It's not happening. And it's any less important where it is happening because it's not happening near you. Well, I could bring up an analogy. How about the fires? The LA fires were unbelievably small when you look at the entirety of Los Angeles, California. It was inconsequential to the vast majority of Southern California in Los Angeles County, downtown LA, Hollywood. The sign didn't burn. People were still able to go to Grauman's Chinese Theater and see if their feet fit in the various celebrity footprints. So were the fires not important? Were they not damaging? Because Moby could walk outside of his house and not be burned? Is that it? They're such hypocrites. And again, that's why I bring it up, because Hollywood can go screw all of them. They're all from the same agenda. They're owned. They are owned, bought and owned by people. Anyway, we'll end on that. And happy Father's Day. We do appreciate the fathers that are doing the good work out there for their kids. And that's very important. Like I said, happy Father's Day to you bastards. We'll see you back here next week. The Anthony Cumia Show. I do appreciate it. Even the callers, even the drunk callers. I adore them more than you could possibly know. So, and I appreciate you guys chiming in on the Israel-Iran thing, because not enough people are taking both sides of that argument and talking about it. So I think we really should do that, other than just beat each other up. Anthony Cumia Show. See you next week.
This is New York's talk leader.
There you go. You're welcome, RT08. Next week, I think it's going to be Grundig satellite 750. I'm gonna dust that one off and bring it down here. Grundig satellite 750, yeah. It'll be down here next week. Grundig satellite 750. And then maybe the week after that will be the Grundig 800. Millennium Edition. And then we'll see. By then I should have my L-shaped desk. And I plan to put another shelf on the other side, and then I'll start bringing down the boat anchors. The Hammerlin HQ100. Hallicrafters XX25. Those are big. Those are big. That's a big one. And then the National Radio. I forgot which one I have. I forgot. NC, I forgot. National. It's for National. So,
Iron Dome defense.
got a few. But this one did pretty good today. It came through today. Did pretty good. So anyway, let me show you what I've done so far. Like I said, I put the shelf up a couple of nights ago. I got some radios here just temporarily. And I already got the FM loop connector here. I got it hooked up here. I gotta, I mess with the clock. I picked that WIP a couple of nights ago right here, just with the dipole. Oh, excuse me. With that little dipole right there, I had that hooked up temporarily here. And I picked up WIP sports station from Philly. And I picked up a couple of other stations too. Of course, WYHY, yeah. WBAZ out of Eastern Long Island. And a couple other stations, but I couldn't make out what it was. Pretty cool. So I'm just waiting for today's the 15th. So by next weekend, I should get my payment. And then I'm going to order the L-shaped desk for this corner. And down here, I already took out the TV and all that. It's right there temporarily. I'm going to populate that with another shelf. Then it's going to be some kind of table underneath. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of radios there. So I'm bringing them down. So that's going to happen next week or two. Well, in the next few days, I'll put the shelf up. Because I'm using these strong brackets. These are steel. See those brackets underneath? Those are steel brackets that my brother made from welding. So those brackets can hold a lot of weight. And of course, I use the cabinet screws. As you can see right there, see the cabinet. I actually use the cabinet screws to anchor it into there so that this shelf can hold a lot of weight. Believe me, it can hold a lot of weight. And of course, I got my AC up there. I got the AC up there. So right now, I'm just going to be listening to some. I'm going to put on my Sony radio, listen to it tonight. I'm going to try to do some FNDXing tonight. Not on the air, but I'll see if I can listen to something tonight. It's pretty good, actually. I'm starting to like the Sony. It's very sensitive. I tune both of them at the same time. See, I have a splitter. So I actually tuned the Sony and this one at the same time. And I compared the two. So I compared the two. And, pretty good. The Sony can keep up with this guy. The Sony receiver can keep up with this guy. And then some. Because remember, the Sony's HD. This is not HD. This cannot do HD. Sony can do HD. And I was hearing on that one, I was picking up the Philly stations. This one, it still could pick it up. But with this one, I have to use the amplifier sometimes. With the Sony, no amplifier. So it's getting there. I'm getting everything situated. I mean, it's not going to be the final setup. Of course, I just got to take it temporarily. And of course, I already got my switches for my transceiver. My transceiver. Here's the MFJ 1886. Of course, I got the MLA30 right there on the wall. Now I want to secure with Velcro. And then, of course, I got the FM loop here for my FM DXing. So I'm getting the station set up. Yeah. What is all those letters? Well, you have a good night. What the hell is that? I think you copy and paste something. I think you copy and paste something, TV Radio 1972. Probably accidental copy and paste. But yeah, anyway, good night. But yeah, I'm gonna check out your I'm gonna watch that video again of his Cuban TV audio. Cuban TV audio. Of course I can access with this one you can still access that frequency. You can still I can still expand down to the, without the update. But it doesn't say ORIT or OIRT, excuse me. It just says FM. So I don't know if that's a difference. So I can still do it. I just got to go to FM. The lowest part of the frequency. I can go all the way down to 65. So I can still go all the way down to 65 megahertz. And I can still tune down there too. So I'll show you. Let me show you. Let me turn it on. Yeah, and then I have to check the FM settings. So let me show you. So you go to FM setting. And you see what says low edge, low band edge, right? Then I can go all the way down to 65. 65. So say I want to put that, right? And then I think that's pretty much it, right? And then I can just I tried it last night and I didn't hear anything. I did hear something. I think something like let me see. Let me go there quick. Well, I don't have the antenna right now hooked up to it, but I heard something around 77. I think it's I forgot what it is called. I heard something around 77, but it wasn't kind of, it wasn't audio type. It was just some, but I can do it there. See? Because I'm gonna put it back in 80. Because in my case, I'm gonna put it back to 87. Excuse me, 87. Let me go back home. Let's see if I can go back up. That's it. Put it at 86. I'll leave it at 86. Oh, okay. Main setting. Okay. Yeah, right here. Select FM band. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so I can do it. And you can do both. One there. So you select that one. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, good to know. See. All right. There you go. So there you go. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna try sometime too. It's pretty cool that you got that catch. Because when you got the Jamaica's station, I checked it within hours, and then that's when I heard the station. So yeah, OIRT is 65 to 74. Okay, yeah, because you caught at what 70, 71, 75? I think it was 71.75 megahertz. If I remember the Cuban station, 71, 75, right? So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that too. Yeah, 75. Okay, 71, 75 audio of channel 4. Okay, that's cool. But that's cool that you got. That's pretty cool. Cuban. I actually used to watch those things on YouTube a couple of times. I don't know what happened. I started watching that stuff on YouTube because they have them on YouTube. You know, Cuban soap operas, telenovelas. I actually saw a few of them a few years back. I don't know why I was watching them. Yeah, well, I know why I was watching them because of the. Let me shut up. All right, I'm gonna sign up now. You guys have a good night. Have a great week. And I'm just gonna tune around here for a while and relax. My wife is off tomorrow, so and my son is going to school tomorrow, so she's gonna take him to school. So I don't have to wake up so early. All right, good night, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Take care.